In 1926, a man named Sakichi Toyoda invented a loom that could weave fabric on its own. His company became Toyota. 100 years later, his great-grandson built a city and named it after the same idea. I am Varnit. I work in AI implementation in construction at a firm here in New York. What's happening at the foot of Mount Fuji is the most ambitious version of every engineer in my industry has been quietly trying to do for last 15 years. They built a city, they turned it on, and it's running. Toyota didn't start in cars, it started in fabric. Sakichi Toyoda was called the king of Japanese inventors. His loom did something quietly radical. When a thread broke, the loom stopped on its own, a machine that watched its own work. That single idea became the foundation of Toyota's entire production philosophy. Decades later, his son Kichiro turned that philosophy into automobiles. And in 2018, Sakichi's great-grandson, Akio Toyoda, walked onto a stage at CES and said something almost nobody understood at that time. He said Toyota was no longer a car company, it was becoming a mobility company. 2 years later, on the same stage, he revealed what that actually meant. They were going to build a real working city at the base of Mount Fuji to test the future of how people move. They called it woven-city because Toyota started by weaving fabric and now they were going to weave a city. When I first read about this city, what hit me wasn't the smart city pitch. I have heard those before. What hit me was the honesty of the name. They didn't call it a tomorrow city, a village 2.0, or smart city. They reached back 100 years and pulled a name out of their own family history. That tells you about something what they are actually trying to build. The master plan came from Bjarke Ingels Group, the firm behind buildings that look like they fell from a dream. Big's idea here was structural, split the modern street, which Bjarke called a mess of everything everywhere, into three. One street for autonomous vehicles, one for bikes and pedestrians, one for plants and people only. Then weave them together in a 3x3 grid. The buildings themselves were detailed by Nikken Sekkei, Japan's largest architecture firm, founded in 1900. They are built primarily from mass timber, Japanese cedar and cypress, combining traditional joinery with robotic fabrication. Below the street, hydrogen power, stormwater filtration, and a buried autonomous goods delivery network they call the Metanet. The general contractor was Obayashi, and the number that got my attention is this. Phase 1 took 420,000 workers, 3.4 million man-hours, and 0 accidents. On a job that size, that's not a safety record, that's a system. If you have ever worked on a real construction site, you know what 0 accidents on 3.4 million working hours actually means. It means a safety culture, the project management, the digital coordination, all of it was running at a level most projects in our industry would call science fiction before we even talk about the AI. Phase 1 finished construction in October 2024. The official launch was September 25, 2025. About 100 people moved in. Toyota employees, their families, they are called weavers. The companies developing products and services around them are called inventors. There is a singer, songwriter on the inventor list, a coffee company, a karaoke chain, a flying taxi startup called Joby Aviation, who got their own former factory hangar to working. Toyota literally converted the old stamping plant where they used to press car bodies into the place where Joby's flight simulators now sits. That same building is now called the Inventor Garage. As of this spring, more than 2 dozen inventors call it home. Toyota has a word for what's happening inside it. Kakezan. Japanese for multiplication. The whole point of the city is to be more than the sum of its parts. Then on April 22nd, 2026, about a month ago, Toyota announced something new, an in-house AI model they call the woven-city AI vision engine. It reads visual, behavioral, and environmental data from across the city in real time. It currently ranks among the leading vision language model on the public benchmark, basically a test of how well an AI actually understands what it's seeing. They pair it with a behavior prediction model, a driver assistant model, and a privacy-aware data platform. The whole thing runs as one system. What that actually means is the city sees what's happening in it. If an autonomous shuttle is running behind, the system reroutes the others. If a pedestrian is about to step out from behind a building the drivers can't see, the city tells the driver. If there's a flood, the city tells the residents before the water arrives. And I want to be honest about this part, because it's not only about safety. At the UCC coffee shop inside Woven City, the ceiling cameras watch how you drink coffee, how tired you look, whether you are working on a laptop, how long you stay. The shop's parent company is doing market research on its customers in real time, with Toyota's AI, with the residents' consent. Now, this is the part of the story I cannot read without thinking about my own work. At the firm I work, I help bring AI in the construction projects. And most of the time, work look like this. We capture as-built reality with the scanners. We overlay it on a design model. We manage it through a platform like Procore. And slowly, the building starts to exist as a single continuous digital twin. Every BIM coordinator in the world has been quietly heading toward this, project by project, for the last 15 years. Woven City did all of it from day one. Then, they let people to move in. A reporter who visited Woven City last month called it a living company town. And honestly, that's not entirely wrong. Toyota is the employer, the landlord, the city planner, and the operating system, all at once. Because a city that sees you is also a city that watches you. Google tried something similar in Toronto a few years ago. It died from privacy backlash before construction even started. Toyota's approach is different. They built on opt-in research city in Japan, where the residents are willing participants and the data trade-off is in the contract. Whether that model scales, whether people in other cultures, other cities, would say yes to it, is the question Woven City exists to answer. The weavers will tell us that's literally their job. Akio Toyoda calls Woven City an eternally unfinished city. Phase 2 is already underway. Phase 3 is still on paper. The version of the city that exists today, 100 people, more than 2 dozen inventors, and AI quietly running in the background, is just a beginning. They built the loom. Now, they are watching it weave. I am Varnit, real AI, real sites, real stories. See you at the next site.